Time for Law and Disorder.
I demand a lawyer.
With attorney Jeff Kaufman on 101.1 WJRR.
All right, we welcome in Jeff Kaufman, partner at Kaufman Lynd, personal injury firm here in Central Florida. If you or someone you know has been injured in any way, shape, or form, and you think you might need to have an attorney get involved, you should at least find out, hey, does my situation warrant legal representation? And Jeff is a straight-up shooter and is going to tell you yes or no. I can help you, or no, what you have here you could probably deal with on your own.
And it's going to save you money in that direction, because if you don't need to hire a lawyer, why would you? Put other lawyers, hate to say it, they'll oh, yeah, you need me, definitely.
Ways to get a hold of him.
Jeff at whenyouneedus.com. His direct email is Jeff at whenyouneedus.com. Pound 546 on your cell is another good way. Or just call him. This is the easiest to remember. 407 Fry Cook. 407 500 Jeff.
What's up, Jeff?
I'm doing good, man. Had Beer Festival this weekend down. It was the Orlando Weekly, put on a nice little event. We sponsored it.
We had some listeners say they ran into you down there.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. It was such a great event. You know, you have like 70 brewers giving away free samples. Everyone's Ubering in and out.
It's America.
It's great.
That is truly America. Yes. One of our listeners texted in. You know what his nickname is? Did he tell you?
No.
One of the guys you ran into? Turnpike Tugger.
No, I would have remembered that one.
Yeah.
I would tell him to stay out of the rest stops.
Keeps himself
entertained. Keep the truck moving, dude. Don't pull over,
Keeps himself entertained.
Keep the truck moving.
Get a handful.
Anything to get the stress out of driving, guys.
All right, you just realize how bad it is. We're not worried about alcohol anymore. We're worried about something else going into the truck.
Distracted driving.
Yes.
Hey, I don't mean to begin on a sour note, but you live in downtown Orlando.
Yeah.
The latest tragedy to happen there Halloween night, the hysteria that ensued as this 17-year-old opened fire, killing 2, injuring multiple others. Refresh our memories again here. When something like this happens on a public street and there's thousands of people gathered and people are killed or injured, on the legal side of things, how does that...
You're asking if people can sue. That's what you're asking.
Is this a situation where somebody bears responsibility, I guess, is the question.
Well, let's talk about who really bears responsibility. It's that piece who has been failed by our system and failed by his parents and failed by God, maybe, that he thinks it's a good idea to open fire.
Right.
17 years old. He will be tried as adult, most likely, but that's not going to make the families feel better who lost children who were just there. I mean, everyone said, downtown, it's an interesting place, but at the same time, there's no point to what happened. So you're asking, can the city or the police force be responsible for any damages to be done? Now, in issues like this, it has to be simple. Was there enough police presence to protect people? Could they have stopped this incident from happening? And the answer is there was a high amount of police.
There sure were. We were talking about that earlier.
The fact is, in such a compact area that I don't want to say only, but if you fired more than 7 shots and only hit 2 people, I mean,
he hit multiple. He killed 2 people.
But I mean, we're talking about the way that place is packed out. That could have been a lot worse. And there were police officers walking, and I'm there every. I go to shows there. I go to Dr. Phillips Center. I live right there.
Cops were right on top.
The police were right there. They did their job. No, I don't think, barring something crazy, the police force did their job, or the city did their job. You can't possibly expect, you can't put metal detectors on every street.
Right. Yeah.
And so I think OPD did a fantastic job, and we should be grateful they're down there, and they're the ones who probably a lot more people would have been dead if it wasn't for those guys.
Do you think the state of emergency that came with the now 7-day curfew and restrictions on alcohol sales after midnight for the next 7 days is warranted? Or
this is a 17-year-old kid who can't get alcohol. This has nothing to do about drinking.
Right.
If this kid was drinking or smoking, he was doing this on his own.
Which is what we were talking about. It's like you're now punishing businesses down there and everybody who wasn't shooting the place up.
Yeah, other patrons.
Well, what I'm saying is this, is that the problem with downtown is this. It's a big area.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of clubs and a lot of stuff is happening. And I've walked by these clubs and there's no way for police. You'd have to triple or quadruple our budget to make sure the police would be out there at 3:00 in the morning.
And that's going to cost you, the taxpayer.
Well, that's got you.
Everybody.
You pay taxes too.
Jeff kind of making the same points that we sort of. Okay.
I mean, the hard part about it is that it's really hard to, it's an area. It's always been an area. You've been drinking down there. I mean, think about, the bars have been open downtown.
Yeah.
Since they were selling, CVS or Eckerd's or whatever drugstore they had.
I'm telling you, at the end of the day, it's right before we went on the air for this segment. We were talking about it. What a shame when you see the two kids that died. I say kids. I know one of them's 25, one's 19, but two kids who lost their lives looked like normal children.
One of UCF students.
I do as you know, I do stand up and I donate all my checks at charity and all that other stuff. But I work at a club right downtown sometimes. I've worked that club like probably 30, 40 times. Yeah. And, there's a lot of people down there. Mm-hmm. And a lot of kids are walking back and forth, and it's a place they hang out and do these things. And we do have shootings. And I think the problem is, it's not this, but how does a 17-year-old get a gun?
Well,
and here's the thing: he's not going into a store for it.
Mm-mm.
And there is a solution. There's a solution when they talk about gun control and everything else like that. I'm a veteran, and I believe in people's rights to bear arms and everything like that. But here's the deal: they have to know if you carry a gun at a certain age, you're going to be done. We're not going to cut you leniency. We're not going to cut you a break. Anybody who's caught selling a gun or selling their gun without making sure it goes to the right person. I don't mind registration. I don't mind registering bullets. Chris Rock said it the best. We should register the damn bullets. I mean, I have my own gun, but, I'm a responsible gun owner, too.
Yeah.
So you have to be. You shouldn't be able to just walk in. I like that we have periods, and I support the idea. But somehow this kid, and whoever got this kid, any gun that's used by somebody else in a crime should be a felony against you, too, because you didn't secure it.
Yep.
We got some listener questions coming in this morning.
Yes. Can a law firm just put you totally on the back burner and ignore your calls after your lawyer quits their firm?
Boy, we hear these non-responsive questions all the time.
Well, this is an accident and injury case.
Well, this does happen, and it is sad. Yes, there are some people who do not respond calls. For example, my firm, you don't only deal with the person who is on your case or the attorney on your case, the paralegal. We actually have a client services department where you get a call every 3 to 4 months, no matter what. And it's somebody outside your case who reviews what's going on and gives you new updates on it. But in a situation like this, some places are too big, and they know it. And I remember owning a firm that had 500 people in it, and you have to hire 30 new paralegals every month and 20 new attorneys every month to make up for the attorneys that are coming in and out. And you could only get so much quality when you have to hire 20, 30 attorneys.
When you're that big.
Yeah.
The fact is this: when it comes to a business, the minute you get over 100 people, it's really impossible to guarantee good service because you are constantly having to hire. Everyone can't be an all-star. So you have to hire people who are just seat warmers, and those seat warmers are the ones that will screw up your business.
And so
that's why I started over and I said we're locked in at 20 to 30 because once you hit 50, that's when you start getting attorneys not returning phone calls.
That's a great point. For that guy who texted in, reach out to Jeff at whenyouneedus.com because it was a personal injury case. Again, Jeff at whenyouneedus.com. For the lawyer. 4 lawyers.
The lawyer.
Well, it was one of us. I know it wasn't you, so we're good.
Living in an apartment here, cockroaches overrunning our place.
Yeah.
Not exaggerating. We see 50 to 75 roaches every day. We're also getting sick. Can we break our lease without penalty because of this?
Can I add something else to this? Because I have a similar question. This is an international story, but it deals with roaches. This woman, same situation over in England, lives in her place that she's renting, roach infested. She ended up having to be treated when a roach crawled in her ear while she was asleep. Wants to know,
isn't that a typical horror story?
And
laid eggs.
Does she have grounds to be compensated by her landlord?
I have a degree in comparative law. England has weird laws. I don't know what they're covered, but in this country, If he's on notice, he's responsible. Now, as far as what
the
your
listeners,
what your listener's question is, and the listener was asking about, can they get out of the lease? You inform them, they do nothing about it. Basically, what they do is it's called a constructive eviction. It means that you are not able to get quiet enjoyment of your property, and you can leave eventually. But if they have notice and they just refuse to do something about it, you do have an argument. Now, they're going to say, well, it wasn't that big a deal. But I think having your house overrun with roaches, but also you got to look at your lease. And I keep telling everybody this. Look at the lease and see who's responsible for things like pest control and things like that. If it's on you, then you're the one who's got to do it.
Man.
Hey, listen, you got to read your lease. Don't just sign stuff because you're lucky.
All right. Do we have time for one more?
real quick.
Okay, for Jeff, I have an old man that keeps walking up into my driveway and carport and his neighbors' places. I've asked him several times not to, but he still does. What can I do? And I understand what they're coming from because injury reasons.
First off, he's trespassing. If this is not public property and he's coming aboard, you can't call the police.
What if he's not all there?
Trespass him. If he's not all
Just
there,
a confused old man.
Put it this way: if he's senile, he's got dementia, he's got something else like that. You need to protect people like that, and who's ever responsible for him, his guardian or something else, is responsible because if he gets hit by a car, if he walks out into traffic, he can kill somebody, or if he loses his faculties and fights. I mean, I deal with this a lot because, I worry about my son's future. I worry about everyone else when it comes to this stuff. Who's ever responsible needs to be taking care of him. If nobody's responsible and he's just coming into your property, contact the police, get him trespassed because he shouldn't be doing that. Because sooner or later, something bad is going to happen, either to him or to somebody else. And we had notice. Yeah. So let's take care of it while we can.
Jeff Kaufman from Kaufman and Lynd. You can reach out to him anytime. Taco Bob, the numbers again.
Jeff at whenyouneedus.com is that direct email. That's Jeff at whenyouneedus.com. Pound 546 on your cell or 407-500-JEFF.
Anything else you need to get out there, Jeff?
Nothing. Just feeling good. People, take care of yourself and be aware of your situation.
All right. Lunch and Tacos commercial-free Workday Rock Block coming up next. Thank you, Jeff.
Lynch and Taco.